All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to talk about one of the biggest myths around money. And more importantly, we're going to show you how to start building the kind of wealth that actually gives you freedom. You know that feeling, right? You're sitting at a stoplight, you look over, and you see this incredible, expensive car pull up. And for a second, that little voice in your head goes, wow, they must be loaded. What am I doing wrong? It happens to all of us. But here's the thing. What if I told you that what you're seeing isn't really wealth at all? This quote from Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money, just nails it. Think about it for a second. Spending money to show people you have money is literally the fastest way to get rid of your money. It's this crazy paradox. The more you try to look rich, the less likely you are to actually be rich. So this is the big secret. Real wealth is quiet. It's invisible. It's the nice car you didn't buy. It's the stocks, the investments, all the financial assets that are working for you behind the scenes. That's what gives you options. But here's the problem. Even if you're doing all this right, even if you're saving and building that invisible wealth, there's a hidden force quietly working against you. Okay, let's talk about that hidden force. We're calling this section the Great Devaluation. And for good reason. Because your savings account, well, it's kind of like a leaking bucket. You know, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to. You're putting money away, you're being responsible. It feels safe, right? Sitting there in the bank. But that feeling of security is a bit of an illusion. There's a slow, invisible leak in that bucket. Let me show you what I mean. To see the leak, you gotta understand something called the M2 money supply. Now, don't let the name scare you. It's actually pretty simple. It's basically just a big number that represents all the easily spendable money floating around in the US economy. And, well, this is the number. As of late 2025, that M2 number is a mind-boggling $22.4 trillion. That's just a staggering amount of money that has been created and pumped into the system. So, what happens in basic economics when you dramatically increase the supply of something? Its value goes down. It's the same with money. With all those new trillions of dollars sloshing around, each individual dollar you hold buys a little bit less than it did before. That is the leak in your bucket. We call it inflation. And here's what that leak looks like in the real world. That 10 grand you worked so hard to save 5 years ago, today, it just doesn't stretch as far. It can't buy the same amount of groceries, gas, or goods. Your money is worth less, not because you spent it, but because the system is devaluing it. So the big question is, how do we fix the bucket? The way you plug that leak, it doesn't start with some secret stock tip. It's not some complicated strategy. It actually starts with a really simple but critical shift in your mindset. It's about learning to see the world through a different lens. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, broke this down perfectly. He said that everything you could possibly buy falls into one of two categories. That's it, just two. Assets and liabilities. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. I mean, it's so simple, but it is so powerful. So let's go back to that fancy car from the beginning. Once you drive it off the lot, it's losing value. You've got insurance payments, gas, maintenance. Is it putting money in your pocket or is it constantly taking money out? It's a classic liability, but it's disguised to look like an asset. Okay, so we've spotted the problem, the leaking bucket, and we've shifted our mindset to focus on buying assets, not liabilities. Now for the really fun part. Building the solution. Let's talk about building your very own invisible engine of wealth. See, most of us are stuck in a trap. We trade our time for money. If we don't work, we don't get paid. The goal is to escape that trap by building an engine that makes money for you 24/7, whether you're working, sleeping, or on vacation. So, how do we build this engine? Well, we need a part that grows faster than the leak in our bucket. Historically, that leak, inflation, has been around 3.9% a year. But look at this. The S&P 500, which is basically just a basket of the 500 biggest companies in America, has historically returned over 10% a year. It's a powerful tool that has consistently beaten inflation over the long haul. And you don't need to be some kind of Wall Street genius to do this. The best strategy is incredibly simple. It's called dollar cost averaging. All it means is you invest the same amount of money on a regular schedule, say every single month, no matter what the market is doing. Is the market up? You invest. Is the market down? You invest. You just put it on autopilot. It takes all the emotion and guesswork out of it. And this is where the real magic happens.
Just look at the power of consistency. That simple $500 a month starts out small, but over 5, 10, 20 years, it grows into something incredible. It survives the big storms like the 2008 crash and the 2020 pandemic because you just keep feeding the engine. Your money starts making its own money, and the whole thing just snowballs. So that automatic transfer from your checking to your investment account every month, yeah, it might feel kind of boring, it's not flashy, but it is the single most powerful thing you can do. That's not a boring transaction. That is the sound of your invisible engine humming along, quietly building your freedom. All right, let's tie this all together. Let's get crystal clear on your path forward from here. Here it is, your 3-step blueprint. Number 1, redefine wealth. True wealth is invisible. Stop focusing on the flashy stuff. Number 2, understand the threat. The cash you have in savings is a melting ice cube. And number 3, start building your engine. Consistently, automatically, buy assets that grow faster than the leak. Because at the end of the day, this whole thing isn't really about getting rich. It's not about the numbers in your account. It's about freedom. It's about waking up in the morning and having the power to choose, to say yes to what you want and no to what you don't. That's the real prize. And so that's the question I want to leave you with. Forget about what other people are buying, what they're driving, what they're showing off. The only question that really matters is this one. What unseen engine are you building today?